The political mausom of West Bengal is hot as the temperatures outside. And we have a very, very hot guest on my podcast, Straight Up with Shri, where I speak to men and women who've inspired me and whose stories are stories of transformation, inner healing, change, and inspiration. I have today none other than political campaigner, a candidate for the CPIM party, South Kolkata, a champion of women's rights, a fighter and crusader for the women in her community, and a great friend and a very, very dutiful mother and loving partner to her husband, none other than Sarah Shah Halim. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Shri, for having me over. It's always wonderful meeting you. And as always, you're doing phenomenal work. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Sarah. So since it's straight up with Shri, let's get straight to the point. You are a person or a figure in the state who's been in the political ambit. You've accompanied your husband many times. I'm just curious, Sarah, whose decision was it to contest? Because, being a supporter or supporting a political ideology and actually, rasta campaign kora, going door to door, fighting, taking on the trolls, the misogyny, just the hate. Yeah. Whose decision was it to be a candidate for the party?
Okay, so firstly, Shri, I'm not only a candidate for the CPM, this time I'm a candidate for the India Alliance.
Right.
So the Congress is supporting me and the civil society is supporting me. So, the communication is that right now I'm the only candidate who is, the candidate for the India Alliance for Kolkata South. Yes, CPM Left Front has nominated me, but Congress is also supporting and campaigning for me. They're joining in my campaign. So we're very hopeful that people will do away with the politics of hatred, politics of misogyny, politics of corruption, and elect a leader who's been vociferous, who's been vocal, and who's been there with the people. I was very vocal during the NRCCA protests. I was vocal when, educational institutes in Karnataka were banning the hijab in the institute. So I said, what is important for a woman is agency. I am for a woman who says, I want to wear the hijab because that's my free will and choice. And I'm also for the women in Iran who say that I do not want to wear it. A woman has to have agency. And that is the moot point that we are fighting about.
Coming into politics is a very, very difficult sort of proposition for women. But we've seen, bahus of political dynasties, case in point being, Sonia Gandhi or Akhilesh Yadav's wife or daughters, right? We've seen them come, into politics because they're basically supporting a lineage. Are you starting a lineage?
Shri, firstly, I'd like to say yes, it's incidental. My family background, the fact that I'm from a political party is incidental. I've spent 17 years in the corporate sector. I've worked with companies, multinationals like Wipro. I was a training manager with Infosys Technology, right. Pune. So I've worked in the corporate sector for 17 years. And then there were a lot of issues that were, coming up in the country, and I felt we needed to voice it. So I started writing about it on social media, and that's when the national media started approaching me. It didn't approach me because I'm somebody's wife or somebody's daughter-in-law. Correct. It's because of my own work that I was doing. Being very vocal in a time when draconian laws are being passed, right. And you are essentially a tweet away from detention. I took that risk, and I have critiqued regimes, right? Draconian regimes, and I'll continue doing so, whether it might be anybody, it might be the person who cannot be named, it can be, him also. But I've been very vocal. Right. I've been critical, not for the point of being critical, because we criticize on policy. Policy matters. So it was the party's decision entirely. It was not that my father-in-law pushed me or my husband pushed me to get into it. You also have to have an interest in politics, or people have there's this misnomer that politics means contesting elections. So I'll say I'm not really a greenhorn because I have been politically active for the last 10, 11 years. I've been on the national media, on all channels, on policy and governance. I haven't represented a party, but the fact remains that I've been politically active. I've been protesting against the CANRC on the streets, hijab ban, whether it was the farmers' protest, the cause of the LGBTQIA community, cause of women, anything untoward, untowardly that happens to women. I've always voiced concerns, critiqued governments. So the party approached me, and it's incidental that my husband, of course, is well-respected stalwart, of the CPIM. My father-in-law was the longest-serving speaker of West Bengal Assembly. These facts are incidental. I think you also need to prove your mettle, because CPIM as a party does not give tickets easily to people. You have to have a very clean profile. You need to work it with the masses, and then only they will even think of giving a ticket. So I, for one, have never vied for a ticket. The last time when I contested Baliganj by polls, I defeated the BJP and the Congress both. And I came very close to winning the election. It's just that the party is not on the winning stride as of now. It is on the resurgence phase, but it takes time for parties to spring back. So, despite, the party not being in its, best position, we still stood, and I felt that was a moral victory. That you're standing against a candidate who had a controversial background. He had jumped ship from a political party, known to have been given vitriolic comments, in the past, and contesting against that. It was not easy. Right now, BJP seems to be, indefeatable as of now, what the image is. The media, a lot of media channels are with them. The top industrialists are so-called, with them. And to stand up against the blatant capitalism that you're beginning to see, which has become very one-sided, and the binary of TMC and BJP. That in case you want to defeat the BJP, you need to vote for the TMC. That's the binary that's been created by some of the media channels here. And to break that binary, but I did it. I defeated the BJP with a thumping majority. That's the reason the party has reposed their faith in me, and they have again nominated my name. So earlier it was one constituency, Shri. Now it's 7 constituencies.
Right.
I'm contesting against 2 sitting MPs. One from the BJP, one is from the TMC, Mala Roy. There are 7 MLAs who are trying to get their incumbent, candidate to win. So, for a woman to be out there, the kind of, when you talk about hate, you ask me a pertinent question. Majority of the people are on your side, but there is a segment which you don't talk about, which is trolling me. On Twitter. I've been blocking people randomly, and it's very difficult. Let me tell you, when you come back after hard days of work, you're working in the Basti area in the heat at 43, 44 degree temperature. And you come back and you hear words like, oh, outsider, oh, so-and-so, or, oh, the gutkha chewing Bihari. Firstly, I'm not a Bihari, and there's nothing wrong in being a Bihari. Secondly, I don't chew gutkha. But just because you want to troll me,
that's the vitriolic
it's real. Just because you want to troll me and you want to other me, so you're putting in these negative, because you're working on behalf of the ruling party.
Correct.
So you want to put a woman down who led a very difficult battle the last time, but still she came out triumphant. And this time, because you feel that the civil society is with me, so I'm not corrupt, I'm not communal. So how do you put a woman down? It's like you use sexist comments. That's the last resort.
Actually, that brings me to my next question, which is that, I have always wondered, and I've been thinking about this a lot, because, this state has been a Lal Salam state for the longest time. But, we've had, the TMC in power, and we have a woman chief minister, which is something I'm incredibly proud of. Now, if you see, you are the new face of a workers' party, right? You're a progressive, secular, empowered woman. You also moderate literary meets. You host events. You're a writer par excellence yourself. You're a columnist. How do you balance these 2 roles? Because, we see you on a truck campaigning in the heat and dust of West Bengal. We see you, as you said, in a basti with women who are, struggling to even get clean water. But we also see you, featured in page 3 of a popular daily. So, does that image clash affect your political future, or is the party concerned because it is an old party?
See, I'll tell you what, if the party was concerned, they would have never nominated me for a prestigious seat like Baliganj.
Right.
There's so many contenders to get a ticket.
Right.
Anyone, they could have nominated anybody. And
Yeah.
I was not even a member when I contested the last election.
Yeah.
I was very happy doing the work that I was doing.
Right.
And the party reposed the faith, and I, increased the vote share of the left from 5% to 30% within a year,
Right.
more than 30%.
Right.
So, seeing my performance, on the ground, they have reposed the faith again. So, it actually works for them, to tell you honestly. It's like an image makeover. The image makeover where they feel that, it's not necessary the parties wants people to be poor. The party wants aspirational leaders who can show them the way forward and tell them that you can be this and you can be that also. You don't need to create a particular binary that to be a leftist, you need to carry a jhola, you need to look frumpy, or you need to wear rubber chappals. I don't wear rubber chappals.
Correct.
I believe, and I promote sustainable clothing, sustainable brands in fashion, because that is, my philosophy.
And you are very fashionable yourself. And since you mentioned jhola, just recently we saw this huge social media uproar about, TMC leader Mahua Mitra carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. And when we were discussing it, you very correctly said, but Mahua had a corporate career. She belongs to a certain kind of family. And what is wrong with Mahua Mitra carrying a branded Louis Vuitton bag? Now, I wanted to ask you the same thing, because you, in a way, to me, would be a prototype of Mahua, right? I mean, you wear branded clothes. You are not, as you said, a woman who looks frumpy in a Hawaii chappal, wearing a white sari or a blue sari or a green sari or whatever it is. You're colorful. You have makeup on your face. You're glamorous. But if you see in Indian politics, somehow we're always, the woman politician always has to be a sanskari woman. I don't know if we'll ever see a day when we see an Indian politician campaigning in jeans and t-shirt. I remember Priyanka Gandhi once wore jeans and a shirt and she was trolled. So even if you see the bahus or the daughters, they're always sari clad, they're always very traditionally attired. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the sari, but I'm just thinking that, why is it that, when there's a woman leader, from her clothes to her makeup to her hairstyle to the length of her choli, or, to her pleats where they are placed, why is that so important? Like, why is it still, the lens to view a leader? You're a leader. I should judge you on your mandate, on your deliverance of your promises. But why am I still looking at your damn handbag?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree, because I personally like Mahua. We are in touch.
Right.
And, I think it was a very sexist, misogynistic, hateful campaign against her. Regarding her handbag or her choice of partners or whatever it is. I think as a woman, I felt very
Attacked.
attacked. I felt personally attacked, because invasion of your privacy.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate. And I feel it's not right. And I think there has to be some kind of law that safeguards the interests of women who are vocal. And, because there's so many people are using AI also.
Yeah.
I remember time Rana Ayub was attacked by AI or something.
Yeah.
So these things happen. It's public space. I know what the drawbacks are. And I don't welcome it at all. Like I said, it's not for the faint-hearted. Politics is not for the faint-hearted. If somebody's going to ask me, I'll say, how is it? So, I might be putting up lovely reels of people coming and giving me flowers, but they don't know the sweat, the toil, and how many times you had to shake off that sweat from your brow, drink a, bottle of water and say, okay, let's start again. Those videos, is something that I will not share. Probably I will not share. The hard work that goes behind. We are showing the good side. It's a happy campaign. People are cheering you, people are, lauding you, they're coming and meeting you. But the toil, the endless hours of relentless work in, peak summer, where people are talking about climate change and climate action, and we are facing an unprecedented summer, still doing it, then you're trolled, for your language. Yeah, I agree, because I essentially come from an English speaking background, and I'm not trying to uh, show something otherwise, that I'm from a Hindi speaking, or or some kind of a background. My Hindi is very fluent, but essentially because we studied in a boarding school. My father has been a general in the army. So yeah, we've spoken English at home. And I will not pretend to be otherwise. I can speak in Bengali, I can read and write in Bengali, and I'm very fluent in Hindi. But yes, you have to mingle amongst them. You cannot be, people need to be comfortable around you. There's a incident I recall. On one of my husband's campaign, I was wearing a skirt when he spoke about how we don't see women in jeans. And
Absolutely.
like, I would love to wear jeans. Because I personally wear jeans myself.
Yeah.
But I was checked, to tell you honestly. I had just come back from work and I was wearing a Fab India skirt with a top.
Right.
तो ये क्या पहना हुआ है? अब डॉक्टर साहब ने कैंपेन करी है, आप बेगम जैसी दिखनी चाहिए.
हाँ, बेगम.
You should look like a
become a
begum
Hiramanti
of a
heroine.
doctor, and your head has to be covered when you are, in these. So that, like, I was like, okay, fine. But at the same time, you don't want to be volatile or, go, because, I've got my battles. So this is the least of my worries, that how I need to be. I don't have a problem. If I'm in an area and, the women need to resonate with me, I need to dress up like that. So it's fine. It's fine. I can be at a literary event, sitting with Shri here, okay, enjoying my cup of tea. Okay. At the same time, in an hour's time, I'll be on the streets. I'll be in the Basti area.
Right.
Which is okay, Shri. We all wear multiple roles.
Right.
And we all have, got accustomed to it.
Right.
I know the stakes are high. There's a lot of expectations on our shoulders. I'm representing not just one political party. The Congress has put in all the efforts to ensure that I win. So it's now a battle between, David and Goliath right now,
Right.
which I'm taking on very well, and I'm giving them a very.
And I can see you're smiling through it. I always have this question, political baatein to bahut ho gayi, but I always had this question and I can ask it to you. I was just mentioning to my team the other day that my father, he was a very successful marketing honcho, CEO. And my mother was a school teacher, and if you see their careers, then his was obviously the more quote unquote high profile. And every time he would call, he would say, tomorrow I'm leaving for Germany, and she would scurry and get his luggage ready and tell the maid that okay, he's going to leave at midnight, so have his chapatis in the hot case. Women, no matter what work they do, even if they are CEOs of a company, they always sort of play a nurturer, they play the role of a caregiver, and they're always in a supporting role. Now, today, from being in the supporting role, you're the leading lady. Do you get the kind of support from your husband, who's also a political leader, that you may have given him in the past? Does he stand by you? Does he sort of take on the heat of the trolls when they are gunning at you? Like, I saw you were speaking in Bengali for Novobosh show, and some of the comments were so mean that, she's in Bengal, Bangla kotha bolte pare na, elitist ke feel, these kind of vitriolic things which obviously get sort of just thopoed on you. What role does the leading man play when he has to become the supporting actor and you become the leading lady?
So Dr. Harim Fouad has been very supportive. He is handling the back end of office, where he's meeting people and how do you tie this and how do you tie up that. He's not been like out with me active, because he wants me to have my own identity. He doesn't want me to be, I'm like Fouad Halim. He doesn't want that. So that's why he's always let me be in the jeep alone with my comrades, without he coming from behind, and there's a different communication, going on, that who's the contestant. He's been there for important campaigns,
Right.
but it's not that he's going out with me
Right.
on the jeep every day
Right.
or going busty with me.
Right.
I'm doing that individually. So yeah, he is handling the back operation. He's ensuring this food on the table so that I can do this. And I think that's a very good job. But not just politics, but just coming back to how women need to work harder. Yes, I have to work harder to break that elite, whatever you might,
Mold.
that mold or that
Image.
image people might have of me, that I'm convent educated and everything, that also. So I make it a point not to wear too flashy clothes or to be too extra rebellious, because that's a different battle. Like I said, one has to choose one's battle.
Right.
So right now that is the least of the criteria. Thirdly, yes, women have to double up more. When you're out there, you have to ensure that the work is happening at home. The child's tutors are coming, she's being fed. The
Multitask.
school report is coming in, checking with her, coordinating with the tutors. You still have to do it. So that emotional labor is something that goes unseen behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
So I think women, it's a lot difficult for women politicians, because you have to see that the home front is synchronized along with the work that you do. And that should not get ignored.
Correct. Today for the shoot, I brought my 15-year-old sister, Srilekha, who's on summer vacations, to help me. And my dad asked me in the morning that, why are you taking her? What will she do? So I said, children of public figures usually enjoy the privileges of their mother or father or sister or, grandparents. And we talk about nepotism so easily nowadays. It's just thrown at you. But they don't see the hard work. They don't see, the sort of the labor, as you said, be it emotional labor or physical labor. And I want her to understand this. Tomorrow she wants to become a chef, but she has to realize it's not going to be fun and games, right? It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of instructions yelled at you, a lot of retakes, right? Life is all about retakes. Tell me about how your children took this decision, because you're a very involved mother, Sarah.
The elder one is studying in London. She didn't take it really well.
How old is she?
So she is 20.
Okay.
She didn't take it that well because she wanted to go on a holiday,
Right.
and, that now, Mama, I'm here on vacation. So 2.5 months now, Mama is involved here. The younger one is more open in the sense, thankfully she's not been too demanding the last 2.5 months, because I've been a very invested and involved mother. Even when I go back, I'm checking, with the tutors, whether the tuitions are going on in time, whether she's going to school on time. And now, of course, because of the heat, the classes are going on online. But I'm very involved with her life. It's not that I just come home and crash. The first thing is, how was your day? What happened? You're feeling okay?
Right.
So yeah, as a mother, I'm very involved. She's open to it. She's like, Mama, hope you win, so that is it. But you're right. And I'm really impressed that you got your sister along. And this is something that I'm going to talk at home, that look, she came, you better come with me on one of my campaigns. Sit in the jeep and understand the heat and the sweat that I've undergone in the last 2.5 months to understand what the battle was all about. So hopefully she'll be okay with it, and hopefully I'll take her to one of
But this is you on your campaigns. Do they understand the meaning of you winning? Because then Mama, who's coming back home and still checking on work, how did your classes go, being invested and involved. But how are they, have they even realized how your life is going to change when you win? And I'm hoping you do.
Yeah. So they are excited. Both of them are excited. Like I said, the elder one was apprehensive.
Right.
But then she's got her own life. She comes here on vacation. She was here for the spring break. Now she's gone back. And we will visit her soon again in next month probably. That's when we're trying to go and visit her in London. Younger one is with me. She is 13 now. And she is happy. She said, Mama, I saw your poster here. My friends are taking selfies with the poster. And here it is. So-and-so fan saw you on the jeep and send this little video. So she's very pepped up about all the inputs that she's getting on her WhatsApp. So little one is more open.
Gung-ho.
Gung-ho. Elder one is she's in a different space. But yeah, she's come around. She's come around.
I want to ask you this about the women of your community, Sarah, because you are going to be seen, or you are seen as a spokesperson or the face of Muslim women in the state. There's so much to be done for women in general in this country, and I'm sure you have a lot planned if you win, and already for the women of your constituency. What are some of the changes that, I know it's a very cliched question, but what are some of the changes you wish to see for the women of the state?
So thanks, Shri. Firstly, I'd like to say the party, my party, and even Congress. When my name was being nominated, the fact is why they nominated my name is because I'm not seen only as a Muslim face.
Absolutely.
So, I'm seen as a progressive voice that goes beyond the realms of religion. So, I'm not really being seen as a minority face, to tell you honestly. Like, right now, being seen as a face of progressive liberal people.
Right.
So, I'm right now the liberal progressive voice, which is left, which is a progressive left. And at the same time, I can't deny that I am a minority candidate. I do come from the minority community, and a lot of women from the minority community do look up to me. Relate to me.
Yes.
That, oh, if she can do it, so can I.
Okay.
So the idea is that to grow beyond the narrative that media plays of how Muslim women look like or how Muslim women should be like. So, the idea is to break the binary, and people on the street shouldn't be able to make out, where you're from. And they hear your name, they understand, oh, she's from the Muslim community, that's separate. But the idea is not to wear any religious markers
On your sleeve.
so that, because you're a candidate for everybody. I can't be going out and talking religion.
Right.
Religion is my personal matter.
Right.
I'm talking about core people issues.
Right.
I'm talking about policy. I'm talking about the vision, what the party has for the constituents of my area, South Kolkata. I'm talking about what Congress is planning. So here, because I'm carrying a flag of both the parties, the left and the Congress. And I just hope to make the cut that that people accept my candidature and feel that this is a very fresh start to politics. And it is different,
Right.
From
Right.
the binaries that get played out, that you have to look a particular path,
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
look sloppy, you need to be from a certain background, you need to be this way or that way. So, people get a little surprised, which I'm liking.
Yeah.
When I'm out in the streets, people like, they smile at me. One person said, oh, Sonia Gandhi, somebody just said
They
that.
thought you Sonia Gandhi.
No, not that. They were just kind of making a comparison.
I
Which-
think that's the fair scheme.
Probably, but I've got burned now, which is okay in the last 2.5 months.
Right.
But I think people are looking at me with a lot of amusement, to tell you
Right.
honestly,
Right.
which is nice. So the one side, there's this hate, which is politically motivated by, the ruling party, of course. They cannot troll me directly under the TMC umbrella or under the BJP umbrella or whatever it is. But there are certain subgroups that work in tandem with a political party to troll you, and when you go on the handle, you understand where the alignment is.
Right.
Because obviously it will be against the election commission if you.
Absolutely. I was watching Jayalalitha's biopic starring Kangana, and that famous scene where she's literally disrobed, and the silent tears, the sort of insult and the misogyny. What I wanted to ask you is, while you have two national biggies backing you up, there is also a lot of gender politics within political parties, because they are dominated by men, right? Even if they have women at the fore, largely they are dominated by men, because women, like I really want a tomorrow, Sarah, where women, educated women, maybe like our daughters, they say, what do you want to grow up and become? I want to become a politician, I want to become the chief minister of a state. So have you faced that gender bias within your own party? Because most of the time it is the infighting and the politics which pulls, and Indians are famous for that. We know that.
Okay, so firstly, Shri, I was not vying for a ticket this time, and I didn't vie for a ticket last time.
Right.
So my nomination came as a surprise in Baliganj, that is 2022. So obviously the party must have come to a consensus, and that is why my name was nominated. Our party is very progressive, so I don't think anybody was against my candidature just because I'm a woman. But yes, there are certain sections, like I said, who are working for a political party, and there's an underbelly, right? Who will not come up directly and troll you from the official handle, but there'll be underbellies of political parties who will troll you and say, "Oh, Mohila, oi, Bhaire Goto, oh, so and so, oh, foreigner, oh, this, oh, Urdu speaking and this speaking and that speaking." Outside attack. And I've been in Kolkata for more than 22 years. I came here when I was a very young girl. I was just 21 years old. So I'm not the outsider. Probably the others are more outsider than me. I'm very much a Calcuttan at heart, very much a Bengali at heart. Yes, probably I cannot speak like a native speaker, but I can speak in Bengali. I can read and write in Bengali. And I can speak in 4 languages: English, Hindi, Bengali, Urdu. And this is it. I know my candidate is different, but I feel it's also refreshing at the time when you're seeing these hardened political statements and vitriol, on the road. Correct. So in a way, a lot of first-time voters came to me and they said, "Ma'am, we researched all the 3 candidates, but our vote is for you because your vision and your candidature kind of resonates with us." So I felt this was something encouraging.
We see if 2 people are in the same profession, it is often called, the ideal jury. Journalist marrying a journalist, a doctor marrying a doctor, right? A politician marrying a politician. But also, let's go back to a favorite film of mine, Abhiman, The Ego. And men usually, they don't like it when the woman becomes more powerful, when the woman is more popular, and when the woman is prettier. Her face is more on billboards, magazine covers, national news channels. Do you fear that happening in your marriage?
Fuad as a person is a very secure man. The reason why I married him is one of the reasons was that, I was a college girl who's already a doctor. And I look at him as a person who is senior to me in age and in experience. So I do take his guidance every day, to tell you honestly, right? Because without his guidance, I would have been quite lost, especially in this big bad world of politics. So it's very important that I do take his advice, which he does, but at the same time, he gives me his space. He's not like a stereotypical, overbearing, traditional husband where he expects his wife to tag along with him at every function, or I expect my husband to tag along with me, everywhere I go. So that way, I feel it is healthy for a couple. So he's not just a politician, he's a full-time medical practitioner. So he's in his chamber, he's performing a surgery, or he's involved with his work or social work. And I have my literary pursuits or my social pursuits, that is there. So I don't think it clashes. One thing that brings us together is our shared passion of activism and political interests, because I feel we all can contribute to a better nation, more robust and more healthy thinking.
You're supposed to say something.
Motivating me, and I'm not complaining to you. It's just a rant. You have to understand, it's a spousal rant where I have no one else to talk to, right? Like, I have a long distance relationship with my siblings. My siblings don't stay here. My parents don't live here. So my mother-in-law stays on top. So now when I come home,
it's only you.
So I will tell you that no one else is working so hard the way I'm working hard. He'll be like, "Okay, don't contest." I said, "No, this was not the answer.
We don't want it oversimplified.
I just wanted empathy. I don't want you to turn around and tell me don't stand for elections. I just wanted a little empathy that you're working so hard and I understand and I'm with you. That's it. I'm not telling you this because I want to hear don't stand. I want you to say stand. You're doing a good job and you'll do better.
I hope for a future, Sarah, where educated, so-called progressive women come into politics and they are not judged, because of their famous surnames or because of their religious identity or even because of their gender, right? You are seen as a political candidate. You are seen as somebody who's like a professional. You have a KRA and, you're having to deliver on those. And if you don't deliver on those, it's like a job, right? We can remove you and get someone better. I hope for that day. I also hope, Sarah, that, the things that you said about how a partner, can be more empathetic. And sometimes when we just want to drop our sword and just hang up our boots, like I said, we just want that person to say that it's okay, you can go on. Because I think sometimes, when we are strong women, sometimes people forget कि अंदर की धूल मिट्टी अंदर की that struggle, the battles, the exhaustion of strength. So I think it's been a great chat. I'm sure our viewers are going to find a lot of great points, and good luck to you, Sarah. We do a cheers at the end of a show with our coffee mugs. Cheers with our lipstick marks on it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah.
Sri Shakti and more power to women. I wish you all the best, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Shane. Thank you for having me over. It was lovely. Thank you.